Let's check traffic.
Thanks, Laura. It's been a smooth ride this morning. Let's go ahead and take a look at our live cam. This is I-285 at 75 in Cobb County, flowing freely, but the downtown connector tapping the brakes just a little at Freedom Parkway with a stalled vehicle that's now moved off to the right shoulder. In for Joy Barge, I'm Linda Looney, CBS Atlanta Traffic.
Smooth ride this morning. Hopefully it carries into this afternoon.
Let's check on the commute now on this Friday.
Here's Linda Looney and for Joy Barge with a check on road conditions.
The roads are looking good in the metro area, but we do have an accident to report involving a Greyhound bus, a tractor trailer, and several other vehicles. Now, that bus was en route from Atlanta to Charlotte in the Carolinas. The crash occurred in Anderson, South Carolina. Multiple injuries are reported in that crash, and lanes are blocked. Again, that is near Anderson, South Carolina, a Greyhound bus coming from Atlanta. But otherwise, in the metro area, looking pretty good. For the most part, a speed limit ride, no major delays to report. Traffic is lighter than normal today as folks enjoy the long holiday weekend. Sitting in for Joy Barge, I'm Linda Looney.
And for Joy Barge today, she is in the traffic center with the latest. Hi, Linda.
Well, hi, Calvin. Jane and Calvin, it's been pretty quiet on the roads because it is a holiday. Let's go ahead and take a look at our live shot. That's going to be I-85 at the Brookwood Interchange. A little volume with folks coming back in town from the long weekend, but no major delays to report. Downtown connector northbound after Turner Field still got that accident with injuries. The left lane is blocked there, so be on the lookout for that. Stone Mountain Freeway westbound at Hugh Howell Road. You're tapping the brakes just a little bit with an accident reported there. I'm Linda Looney, CBS Atlanta Traffic. With several key issues relating to Gwinnett up for debate at the Capitol, the members of the county delegation have been taking turns in the public eye. Today, voters throughout Gwinnett, across the state, and around the nation will be heading to the polls to cast their ballots in various races. After a massive manhunt in Gwinnett County, federal authorities nab a suspect in New York. Details coming up in a live report. Also, the Georgia State Patrol releases numbers for roadway accidents over the long holiday weekend. That and more up next on Gwinnett News Noon Edition. The manhunt for a fugitive is now over, and that story tops our news at noon. Good afternoon, I'm Linda Looney. For more than 2 months, police have tried to track down a New York man who jumped bail. GNET's Alicia Lamont joins us live from the newsroom, and she tells us Gwinnett County Police helped authorities in tracking him down. Alicia?
Well, Linda, back to you.
Thanks, Alicia. Any word from authorities on additional charges for Mason for jumping bond?
Linda, Mason behind bar. Linda?
Okay, Alicia, thank you for that live report. And in other news at noon, authorities are investigating a boating collision that killed a 31-year-old woman on a personal watercraft on Lake Lanier. Lisa Rogers sustained head injuries and was pronounced dead.
Linda Dennis tells us how in part one of her three-part series, The New Unemployment Line.
That's right, Dave. It was interesting looking into this, and there's definitely a change in who's standing in the unemployment line. In less harsh economic times, it's usually the blue-collar worker who ends up looking for a job as companies begin to cut back. But today, hard times are hitting home for everyone. Tammy Matthews was one of nearly 200 employees who were laid off from Fort Valley's Bluebird Bus Company earlier this year. She worked with the company as a secretary for 15 years. It was this home video of Los Angeles police beating motorist Rodney King that angered many around the country. The family of Charlton Wood alleges Macon police beat him, but without using billy clubs. They say it happened early Tuesday morning in front of the grocery store across from their Worsham Avenue house. His brother, Anthony Wood, says the incident started with one police officer.
Then he kept on pushing and shoving him around, and then finally called the other cars in, and that's when they'd come in and the four had him down on the ground, and they started kicking him and shoving him around.
Wood says his brother had gone to use the store payphone, and that's when the policeman approached him.
He said, "I think you got me mistaken with someone else," and my brother said, "If I'm the right one, tell me what my name is or where I live or whatever." And the officer just standing there staring at him like he's some kind of crazy person and wouldn't say anything.
Charlton Wood is being held in the Bibb County Law Enforcement Center. He's charged with obstruction of a police officer and criminal damage. Bond has been set, but he's being held on a bench warrant for failure to appear in court on a previous charge. Police officials say they're investigating the incident.
Aside, we're talking to any witnesses we can find that saw the incident or was in that area that night.
Neighbor William Widener says he saw part of it and he thinks it was racially motivated.
I said, nigga, ain't no use in that kicking now.
You were talking to a black officer?
Yeah.
Were there only black officers beating him?
That was all I hear.
It was all black officers?
I didn't see a white.
The Woods say they're considering filing a formal complaint against the police department. In Macon, Linda Dennis, 41 Newswatch. Sheriff's authorities say 30-year-old Chuck Davis had worked the night shift at this Waffle House at Arkwright Road and Riverside Drive, but he came back in the morning to talk to a supervisor about his schedule.
The manager told him he could be off Friday and Saturday, and he sat around, drank a cup of coffee, and then he pulled a knife and demanded the money. The manager gave him the money.
Smallwood says he has a good idea what caused Davis to rob the place where he works.
It was a cry for help. He's on drugs.
He says Davis was high on crack cocaine at the time. Davis fled the scene with an undetermined amount of money, leading sheriff's authorities and Macon police on a high-speed chase. But before long, he gave up running. This is the car the suspect was driving. The chase ended here at Bethel Church and Fulton Mill Roads. Sheriff's authorities say Davis had no criminal background but does have 2 misdemeanor charges on his record. He now faces a single charge of armed robbery. He's being held in the Bibb County Law Enforcement Center pending bond. In Macon, Linda Dennis, 41 Newswatch. The family of 10-year-old Matthew Payton says just 5 months ago, before he began complaining of headaches, they thought he was as healthy as any boy his age. But tests show the headaches stem from a large tumor. Surgery to remove part of the tumor was successful, but in late November, Matthew slipped into a coma, and by early Sunday morning, his body couldn't fight any longer.
We told him to stop trying so hard, but then he died, and I'm very sad, and we've cried. Our hearts have been touched, and because we loved Matt.
Matthew's father says his son's death was somewhat expected, but still a shock.
The doctors said that there was a possibility of him passing. Said it'd be best for him to come home and best for him to die at home instead of at the hospital. Which I agreed with them on that too, but we were praying that he would survive.
Matthew leaves behind 3 brothers.
I remember Matt from in my heart, and from the pictures. And remember how he played basketball.
Matthew's parents both have a message for those who came to their son's aid.
Appreciate it. I thank them for their support, because it really built our energy up.
God will take care of Matt.
Funeral arrangements for Matthew should be complete by midweek. His family hopes to hold the service here at Matthew's school, Ingram Pie Elementary. In Macon, Linda Dennis, 41 News.